The death toll from the Israeli forces' attack on Palestinians seeking food aid near Gaza City on Thursday has surged to 116. As confirmed by the Ministry of Health, the ministry anticipates a further increase due to numerous severe injuries and limited medical resources. Israeli attacks on Gaza since October 7th have resulted in a total of 30,320 casualties, including 71,533 injuries. In a tragic incident, 11 Palestinians were killed and 50 wounded in an Israeli air raid on tents sheltering displaced people in Tal al-Sultan, Rafah, a previously designated safe area. Responding to the humanitarian crisis, the US executed its inaugural airdrop of aid into Gaza, deploying 3 C-130 planes to deliver approximately 35,000 meals. In Kfar Kana, an Arab town in northern Israel, thousands are marching, demanding an end to Israel's assaults in Gaza and the occupied West Bank. Simultaneously, Israeli protesters, led by relatives of captives in Gaza, marched towards Jerusalem, urging the government to take decisive action for the return of their loved ones. Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid, part of the march to Jerusalem, criticized the government for not doing enough to secure the release of Israeli captives.
התשובה היא לא. כי אם היו עושים מספיק הם כבר היו חוזרים הביתה. שואלים אותנו אם ייתכן ניצחון בהחזרת חטופים. לא יהיה ניצחון אם הם לא יחזרו. מדינת ישראל צריכה לדעת שזו המחויבות הגדולה ביותר שלה להחזיר אותם הביתה. אני פה איתכם ואנחנו פה כולנו יחד. מפני שהמדינה הזאת לא יכולה לחיות עם הרעיון של לא יחזור. אין אפשרות אחרת. אם צריך לצעוד, נצעק, אם צריך לצעוק, נצעק. אם צריך לבכות, נבכה, ואם צריך לחבק, נחבק, אבל הם יחזרו הביתה. נלחם על זה בחו"ל, נלחם על זה בארץ. הלוחמים שלנו נלחמים על זה עכשיו בעזה. מדינת ישראל איתכם. מדינת ישראל מחבקת אתכם, ומדינת ישראל משתתפת במאבק שלכם להחזיר אותם הביתה. אם הם לא יחזרו הביתה, מדינת ישראל בגדה באזרחיה. אסור לתת לזה לקרות. תודה שאתם נותנים לי לצעוד איתכם היום. אני קורא לכולם להצטרף אלינו כאן, ולבוא לצעוד איתנו ולבוא להיאבק אותנו איתנו. זו המטרה העליונה של החברה הישראלית.
את כולם! את כולם! את כולם! את כולם! את כולם! את כולם!
The Office of EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell has called for an impartial investigation into the aid convoy attack, placing responsibility on Israel for the tragic incident that claimed 115 lives. Lebanese Foreign Minister Abdullah Abu Habib expressed Lebanon's readiness for indirect negotiations with Israel to prevent the current conflict from escalating into a regional war. Abu Habib suggested involving the US, France, or the United Nations, and warned Israel that any aggression against Lebanon would face consequences. Israel has previously threatened military action if diplomatic efforts to remove Hezbollah assets from the border fail. Radio Pakistan reported Todat that PMLN President Shehbaz Sharif and PTI Secretary General Omar Ayyub have filed their nomination papers for the office of the Prime Minister. Mr. Shehbaz is the joint candidate of PMLN and PPP, while Mr. Omar is backed by PTI and the Sunniated Council. Meanwhile, at GPO Chowk on Mall Road near Lahore High Court, police arrested at least 8 PTI workers who had gathered to protest alleged theft of their mandate. Dawn correspondent at the site witnessed police action dispersing the remaining protesters. PTI leader Shia Afzal Mawat declared PTI will continue protesting until Imran Khan is released from jail and the stolen mandate is returned.
हम अदालतों में भी, पार्लियामेंट में भी और सड़कों पर भी खान की आजादी, पाकिस्तानी कौम की हकीकी आजादी और अपने मैंडेट के रिकवरी तक अपनी जद्दोजहद, अपनी एजुकेशन, अपने एहतजाज जारी रखेंगे.
He urged the Supreme Court to address violations of Pakistani's fundamental rights.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ऑफ पाकिस्तान को से ये मुतालबा करते हैं कि आपके होते हुए पाकिस्तानियों के हकूक बुरी तरह पामाल हुए. खान 7 माह से बेगुनाह अपने उन न करदा गुनाहों की सजा काट रहा है उसका गुनाह क्या है? इय्याका नअबुदु व इय्याका नस्तईन, उनका गुनाह क्या है? एब्सोल्युटली नॉट। उनका गुनाह क्या है? हकीकी आजादी।
In another development, Ali Amin Gandapo has been sworn in as the new Chief Minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa by KP Governor at the Provincial Assembly. Similarly, PPP leader Sarfraz Bugti has taken oath as the next Chief Minister of Balochistan, administered by Balochistan Governor. Earlier today, PPP Chairman Bilawal Bhutto Zardari stated that the new Balochistan government will follow late Benazir Bhutto's principles of reconciliation, aiming to resolve issues in the province.
पाकिस्तान पीपल्स पार्टी की फ़लसफ़ा और नज़रिया जिसके मुताबिक इंशाअल्लाह ताला हम बलूचिस्तान में जिसके मुताबिक हम यहाँ बलूचिस्तान में हुकूमत चलाएंगे, वो शहीद मोहतरमा बेनज़ीर भुट्टो की जो आखिरी किताब थी रेकन्सिलिएशन, उस रेकन्सिलिएशन की सोच के साथ हमारा ये यहाँ कोशिश होगा कि ना सिर्फ हमारे तमाम दोस्त जो पार्लियामान में मौजूद हैं उनके साथ, मगर तमाम इस सूबा में जो सियासी स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं पार्लियामान के बाहर, उनके साथ भी हमारा ये इरादा होगा इंशाअल्लाह ताला कि हम रेकन्सिलिएशन के थ्रू सबके साथ इंगेज करें।
Shifting the focus to Karachi, JUIF Chief Maulana Fazlur Rahman has arrived in Karachi for an important meeting in Karachi tomorrow. He will address election rigging concerns and give instructions to JUI Sindh officials, followed by a press conference. In Iran, the ballot counting is underway after parliamentary and assembly of experts elections. Unofficial reports suggest the lowest voter turnout since the 1979 Islamic Revolution. These elections follow widespread protests sparked by the 2022 death of Mahsa Amini in police custody for alleged dress code violations. Over 61.2 million Iranians were eligible to vote in separate polls for parliament and the assembly of experts, responsible for selecting the supreme leader. Despite economic challenges and unrest, Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei urged participation, but early polling indicates a potential record low turnout. The 2020 parliament was elected during the COVID-19 pandemic with a turnout of 42.57%, the lowest since 1979. Initial signs suggest the current election might set a new record low, especially in Tehran. A state-linked agency projects a 41% turnout for parliamentary elections, potentially the lowest in the past 12 votes. Results for major cities in the assembly of experts have started emerging, with around 50 parliamentary seats declared by some city councils. Full results are expected tomorrow. Iran's economic crisis, international sanctions, and widespread hardships have fueled discontent. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei's call for voting faced a divided response, reflecting public disenchantment with politics. While manual vote tallying is ongoing, some results have been disclosed, with the final outcome expected tomorrow. The Supreme Leader emphasized the vote's significance, stating, "Vote as soon as possible. The eyes of Iran's friends and ill-wishers are on the results." India's Information Technology Minister, Ashwini Vaishnaw, criticized Google's decision to remove several Indian apps from its Play Store. Among them were Matrimony.com and Bharat Matrimony, allegedly for not following in-app payment guidelines. Vaishnaw stated such removals couldn't be allowed and plans to discuss with Google and meet affected Indian startups. Google declined to comment. The app removal sparked backlash from startups protesting Google's practices, particularly its in-app fees. Indian startups oppose Google's 11% to 26% fee on in-app payments. Despite antitrust authorities advising against mandatory enforcement, Google defended its stance, citing court decisions and stating the fees support the Android and Play Store ecosystem. Matrimony.com, significantly impacted, saw over 150 apps removed, affecting its business. Another affected company, InfoEdge, had its Naukri job search app and a real estate search app removed. Google's action mirrors a similar move in 2020 when it briefly removed the Indian payments app Paytm, leading to industry-wide challenges against Google, including alternative app store launches and legal cases.